Fun stuff there. All right, fellas, this one's new and neat and a toy I've been playing with for a few months now. This is the CMMG Dissent. Now, the Dissent is pretty cool because it is a bufferless AR. This one is an AR-10 style receiver, so you can have it in larger calibers. And our larger caliber for today is the 8.6 Blackout. I probably should have missed a few times, but you can see how quiet it is. Nailed that tree. Isn't that cool? So let's jump into this guy right here. So this Mark III Dissent is your AR-10 variant of the Dissent line that we've covered in the past, because we have the 5.7 that we've done, as well as the Mark 47, like the mutant style that takes AK magazines. But the Mark III is going to be your AR-10s. They have one in 308 and 6.5 Creedmoor, and of course the 8.6 Blackout. It just makes me smile because subsonic suppressed is a lot of fun. Now, some of the Dissents will have a 6.5-inch barrel up to a 20-inch barrel. This one is a nice happy medium at 12.5-inch. It came as a pistol, but my friends over at Ordnance Lab, if you like to watch stuff blow up, go check out their channel. They SBR'd it, and so now we can put this neat UGG style boot, SCAR style stock in it, which is actually from CMMG as well. So we have this bufferless system that just rides on recoil springs inside the receiver. We'll show you how that looks. This receiver set though is stinking tight, so we'll get a tool, take it apart, and show you what it looks like. This has probably been one of the tightest receivers I've ever messed with, but here you go. That's the inside brains of the Dissent, and that's what you run off so you don't have a springy, noisy buffer tube back here, and it allows us to close it. Big beefy bolts there, and so that ought to work out well, especially when we're just shooting like a subsonic like we are. So from the factory, it comes with the zeroed muzzle brake, which is kind of cool. It looks like it kind of a blow forward compensator as well, but of course we're going to suppress this thing. I had some issues. We'll get into these suppressor issues later, but this for the moment is Griffin Armament Bushwhacker 46. Sounds pretty good. Now we have an adjustable gas block under here, which is actually hard to get to. I ended up just putting several extensions on a screwdriver so I could reach it. So we have it adjusted for our subsonic ammo right now. And then of course we have our side charging non-reciprocating handle here. My one complaint with it though is when I'm in a blind, like hunting, we're trying to be quiet. Hogs are coming in. That's really noisy when we hit it. I don't like how noisy it is just when you like barely hit it. So anyway, we can probably dampen that sometime. The neat thing about it is it swaps super easy for you lefties just by pulling the bolt out, and you can just swap it once you have it down. They have their zeroed trigger here, which is quite nice. It's a single stage and it's right under 4 pounds. So very nice and crisp and no complaints, no need to change it. We do have an ambidextrous magazine release. We can hit it on either side, and then we have a little bit extra of a bolt hold open right there. It's really hard to reach one hand, but if you got a long enough thumb, you can do so you can lock it back one hand. The pistol version comes with just a Picatinny rail on the back, so you can do with as you wish. 45-degree selector, ambidextrous there. Now let's see what else we can do. So we have this Thermite by DNT's, like day and night optics, and it's a thermal / night vision. We can record through it though, so it's cool for you, and it has a ballistics calculator, which is cool when you're shooting a round that drops like a brick. So let's shut up and shoot a little bit, see how this calculates out. And so right there, oh, we already had it ranged, and it's showing that hold of that green would be 700 yards. Let's see how close it is. Looks pretty dead on. All right, cool. Let's go for that. Skip 100. Let's go to 125. Zoom in. Let's range it. And 127. I lied. There we go. It's a good hit. We also should focus it at some point. All right, let's see about the knockdown. That would be cool. That 175-yard one. Let's range it. It's 174. Light again. Okay, so there's our holdover. Should be there. Hey, this is going pretty good. All right, let's go all the way out in the back. 270, but it's probably gonna be 64. It's 274. Wait, no, it's 174. It's range 262, there it is. And it drops so much, it's almost off the reticle. There's a good hit. Okay, we need to see how quiet it is though. So we're gonna go for that tree at 300. that's pretty fun right there. So a little bit about the 8.6 round. We are shooting a .338 caliber projectile at subsonic speeds, about 1,050 feet per second, and out of a .308 casing. So it's interesting, but and it can be expensive, but of course the quiet part is cool. One more. So the 8.6 round, so think several years back, over a decade, when 300 Blackout was introduced. Okay, so you're talking, we took a 5.56 and we're like, let's put a 30 cal bullet in it so we can still use the same mags and everything, just swap the barrel. That's the exact same thing we're doing now with the AR-10 platform. So we took 6.5 Creedmoor casing. You can use 308, but we won't go there, and especially for subsonic. And now we're going to shove a 338 bullet in, because if we're going to go slow, why not be fat? You're looking at 155 grain up to 350 grain, and they make some pretty neat expanding ones in that higher weight range that will do some great work on the game, especially because what they use is an absurd 1 in 3 twist rate in the barrel. Okay, normally you're going to have like a 300 Blackouts, like 1 in 9. So that means every 9 inches of your barrel, the projectile spins once. So now it's every 3 inches on this. So for a 12-inch barrel, that bullet is twisting 4 times before it even hits the end of your muzzle. It's a bit crazy, but you can see some of the terminal performance on some of those rounds that they pull out of game or gel. And especially when they expand, they're not only just expanding, but you can see that they're twisting, and actually the petals of that expanded bullet have a twist in it. So kind of a blender effect. It looks kind of neat. The downside of 8.6, monies. Every brass, you're talking, unless you make it yourself, which can take a long time to do it properly. You can turn the neck and everything's on these. You're talking a good $1 for a chunk of brass. So you're going to want to catch that and reuse it. And 300 grain Sierra Match King seems to be the go-to projectile, which once again is over $1 a round usually. Now, what you might want to do, and a lot of especially suppressor manufacturers want you to do, is go with a solid copper bullet, or just a solid bullet in general. Because of that 1 in 3 twist rate, some of the suppressor manufacturers are saying, yeah, a lot of cans are getting messed up out there, because that twist rate can actually shred that bullet jacket and then damage your can. So if you're going to go solid though, you're going to pay even more money for those rounds. We have just a few rounds left of this Fort Scott TUI Tumble on Impact ammo, and so we're going to see if we can see any kind of tumbling in a gel block. I did get a chance to shoot at some hogs the other night. It was kind of dynamic, shall we say. They were in the woods, I was in the woods, it was really dark, and I know I hit at least 1, probably 2. Found some bloods, but did not see a hog drop. So it hasn't been magical for me so far. Of course, I expect it to zip straight through it, but we'll see if we catch it moving. Okay, I saw some smoke and then we heard it pinball off of trees. It had that dieseling effect where there was a combustion in here, and I think it's a byproduct of the gel. We've seen it all the time when we shoot clear ballistics gel. But we definitely see a twisting channel through here. Like one, yeah, really 1 every 3 inches, because we see like a damage on the right and damage on the right around 3 inches apart. Anywhere from about 1.25 inches to about this 6.5 inch mark. You can tell it did its twisting rate thing, and you can tell it totally started to tumble right here, and then it just did a whole slicing cut. But this is an 18-inch block, and so that's about 16.5 inches is where it finally did it, and then it went out. So this now makes sense to why, when I shot 2 hogs, they just kind of squealed and tickled, because it didn't tumble in the hog part, because the hog's about this wide. It tumbled on exit a little, so it didn't tumble in the vitals. So it did what it's supposed to do. So if you're shooting like a moose or an elephant broadside, you're in good shape. But for any small game, I'm not quite sure that's going to work. So I went to unload the rifle, and we can see an obvious difference in our Fort Scott's ammo. And it seems that the action is kind of violent on that AR-10. And so it's smashing it in a bit. Will it matter that much? It could affect accuracy a little bit. It could affect your pressures. It's just not ideal. And so you can tell on this one casing, especially when the casings are a buck a piece empty, that we have some, and this is nothing that won't reload out with a crimped neck like this, but I've seen a couple of these and some dings on the shoulders. You can see a scratch mark here, probably from the barrel extension. And I have the gas tuned down just enough to cycle and bolt hold open on empty mag on subsonic ammo. So at least it's adjustable there. However, if you're really anal about your casings, there's a dent right there just from it being fed in once. You know, you may be more looking for a bolt gun on the 8.6. However, you're getting a slew of hogs. You know, we like semi-auto, so it's cool. So there you go. While a lot of my plinking ammo has been hand loads, just because I'm trying to save a buck, the Gorilla ammo seemed to have a good accuracy. It's the same 300 grains here at Match King though, but I guess they're doing a good job. We're recording on 20 power here. Let's shoot a little group with our suggested holdover. Oh, very nicely slendered. Oh, that one went a little bit higher. Oh, right in the string, not too shabby. Right in the same group. The last one went out just a little bit, but everything else went, looks good. Actually, if we go inside edge to inside edge, you know, you deduct the projectile out, we're at 2.6 inches. It looks bigger because of the lead splatter. But remember, this was my last shot, so if we forgive that, it was like 2.1. Mostly a vertical variation though, so that may be just kind of a subsonic thing going on. You know, when you're only using 15.5 grains of powder, there's not much room for error there. So, but is that a dead hog? That's a dead hog.
Obviously it's not.
Eventually it's a dead hog. It's not a dead, dropped, harvested hog. It's bleeding out in the woods. So that about wraps up our fun at the range with the CMMG Dissent in 8.6 Blackout. And don't just think that the Dissent is limited to the 8.6 here. They have a lot of different options. I was just excited to be able to play with the 8.6 because, well, it's a fun new caliber. But CMMG has probably one in every flavor of every caliber that you're wanting if you're looking for something with a forward side charging handle and a bufferless system. So you can go check them out at their website, and we thank you for watching today. Okay, I love you, bye-bye.